welcome back. It's good to see you again today. I hope you're excited to jump back in our book Crenshaw by Catherine Applegate. Last time you joined me, we learned how Jackson met Crenshaw for the first time, and he got some mysterious purple jelly beans. So today we're going to pick up where we left off. Chapter 6, and here's our Crenshaw right here sneaking up on our page. I don't know where I got the name Crenshaw. No one in my family has ever known a Crenshaw. We don't have any Crenshaw relatives or Crenshaw friends or Crenshaw teachers. I'd never been to Crenshaw, Mississippi or Crenshaw, Pennsylvania or Crenshaw Boulevard in Los Angeles. I'd never read a book about a Crenshaw or seen a TV show with a Crenshaw in it. Somehow, Crenshaw just seemed right. Everybody in my family was named after somebody or something else. My dad was named after his grandpa. My mom was named after her aunt. My sister and I weren't even named after people. We were named after guitars. Are you named after something? Maybe you should ask your parents and find out. I was named after my dad's guitar. It was designed by a manufacturer called Jackson. My sister was named after the company that made my mom's guitar. My parents used to be musicians. Starving musicians is what Mom calls it. After I was born, they stopped being musicians and became normal people. Since they'd run out of instruments, my parents named our dog after a famous singer called Aretha Franklin. That was after Robin wanted to name her fairy princess Cutie Pie, and I wanted to call her Dog. At least our middle names came from people and not instruments. Orson and Maribel were my dad's uncle and my mom's great-grandma. These folks are dead, so I don't know if they're good names or not. Dad says his uncle was a charming curmudgeon, which I think means grumpy, with some niceness thrown in. Honestly, another middle name might have been better, a brand new one that wasn't already used up. Maybe that's why I liked the name Crenshaw. It felt like a blank piece of paper before you draw on it. It was an anything is possible kind of name. Have you ever looked at a blank piece of paper and just let your imagination go wild and thought anything is possible? I could draw whatever I'd like. I could make it into whatever I'd like. So that's what he thought Crenshaw represented. An anything is possible name. Here's a little Crenshaw hanging out at the top of the page now. Chapter 7. I don't exactly remember how I felt about Crenshaw the day we met. It was a long time ago. I don't remember lots of stuff about what happened when I was young. I don't remember being born, or learning to walk, or wearing diapers, which is probably not something you want to remember anyway. Memory is weird. I remember getting lost at the grocery store when I was 4. But I don't remember getting found by my mom and dad, who were yelling and crying at the same time. I only know that part because they told me about it. I remember when my little sister first came home, but I don't remember trying to put her in a box so we could mail her back to the hospital. My parents enjoyed telling people that story. I'm not even sure why Crenshaw was a cat and not a dog or an alligator or a Tyrannosaurus Rex with 3 heads. When I try to remember my whole entire life, it feels like a Lego project where you're missing some of the important pieces, like a robot minifigure or a monster truck wheel. You do the best you can to put things together, but you know it's not quite like the picture on the box. It seems like I should have thought to myself, wow, a cat is talking to me, and that is not something that usually happens at a highway rest stop. But all I remember thinking is how great it was to have a friend who liked purple jelly beans as much as I did. Have any of you ever had an imaginary friend? I did when I was little, but it was just a person, not a fun big cat. They can be really helpful sometimes when you feel lonely or you feel like you don't have a friend. To have an imaginary friend can be nice. And our last chapter for today is chapter 8. Look at this silly Crenshaw, now he's facing sideways. Here we go. A couple of hours after the mysterious jelly bean appearance during cereal ball, my mom gave Robin and me each a grocery bag. She said they were for our keepsakes. A bunch of our things were going to be sold at a yard sale on Sunday, except for important stuff like shoes and mattresses and a few dishes. My parents were hoping to make enough money to pay some back rent and maybe the water bill too. So back rent is when you didn't have enough rent to pay the month before. So your parents might pay rent for your house or an apartment or wherever you live. And so sometimes, depending on what your parents do, sometimes it can be really hard to pay for all your bills every month and you can't pay for them. So it turns into something that you have to pay back at a later time. So Jackson's family is trying to have a yard sale so that the parents can pay back some of their bills that were due a while ago. Robin asked, "What is a keepsake?" My mom said, "It's an object you treasure." Then she said, "Things don't really matter as long as we have each other." I asked what were her keepsakes and my dad's. She said probably their guitars would be at the top of the list, and maybe books, because those were always important. Robin said she would bring her Lyle book for sure. My sister's favorite book in the world is The House on East 88th Street. It's about a crocodile named Lyle who lives with a family. Lyle likes to hang out in the bathtub and walk the dog. Robin knows every word of that book by heart. That means she has it memorized. Later at bedtime, my dad read the Lyle book to Robin. I stood at her bathroom door and listened to him reading. He and my mom and Robin and Aretha were all squished on her mattress. It was on the floor. The wooden parts were going to be sold. "Come join us, Jackson," my mom said. "There's lots of room." My dad is tall, and so is my mom, and Robin's mattress is tiny. There wasn't any room. "I'm good," I said. Looking at my family all there together, I felt like a relative from out of town. Like I belonged to them, but not as much as they belonged to each other. Partly that was because they look so much alike, blonde and gray-eyed and cheerful. My hair and eyes are darker, and sometimes so is my mood. Emptied out, it didn't look like Robin's room anymore. Except for her pink lamp and the marks on the walls that showed how much she had grown, and the red spot on the carpet where she had spilled cranberry apple juice. Robin was practicing her t-ball batting, and she got a little carried away. "Swish, swash, splash, sploosh," read my dad. "Not sploosh, Daddy," Robin said. "Smoosh, splish, swash." "Stop being silly," she said. She poked him in the chest. "It's swoosh, swoosh, I tell you." I said that I did not think a crocodile would enjoy taking a bath. I had just read a whole library book about reptiles. My dad told me to go with the flow. "Did you know that you can hold a crocodile's jaws closed with a rubber band?" I asked. My dad smiled. "I wouldn't want to have been the person to test that theory." Robin asked my mom if I had a favorite book when I was little. She didn't ask me because she was pouting about my bathtub comment. My mom said Jackson really liked A Hole Is to Dig. Remember that book, Jackson? We must have read that to you a million times. "That's more like a dictionary than a made-up story," I said. "A brother is to help you," my mom said, which was a line from the book. "A brother is to bug you," said Robin, which was not a line from the book. "A sister is to drive you slowly insane," I replied. The sun was beginning to set. The sky was tiger-colored with stripes of black clouds. "I have to get my stuff ready for the yard sale," I said. "Hey, stick around, dude," said my dad. "I'll read A Hole Is to Dig, assuming we can find it, that is." "I'm way too old for that book," I said, even though it was the first thing I'd put in my keepsakes bag. "Lyle, one more time," Robin said. "Please, please, 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 please." "Dad," I asked, "did you buy some purple jelly beans?" "Nope." "Then where did they come from? The ones in Robin's t-ball cap? It doesn't make any sense." "Robin went to Kylie's birthday party yesterday," said my mom. "Did you get them there, Sweet Pea?" "Nope," Robin said. "Kylie hates jelly beans. And anyway, I told you they were magic, Jackson." "There's no such thing as magic," I said. "Music is magic," said my mom. "Love is magic," said my dad. "Rabbits in a hat are magic," said Robin. "I would put Krispy Kreme donuts in the magic category," said my dad. "How about the smell of a new baby?" asked my mom. "Kitties are magic," Robin yelled. "Indeed," said my dad, scratching Aretha's ear. "And don't forget dogs." They were still going at it when I shut the door. Have you ever felt a little bit left out from your family before? Kind of like you maybe don't fit in, or you feel like they're not the same as them, so you can't relate as much? And you might relate to Jackson like he did in this chapter, right? So I hope you enjoyed those chapters today. Next time, tune in for chapter 9. We'll see what happens next. Don't forget to do your book response. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll see you later, guys. Bye.